And at 10, Weird Ramby. We all love animals in media, be it in a video game or movie or TV show. We always hope the animals make it out okay, which is why we all whip our dicks out for Harambe. However, when the animal is a rhino in an iconic game, we root for them even more, which is why it was really horrifying when someone realized that you could actually change Ramby to be shaped like a gray pixelated Donkey Kong while riding him in Donkey Kong Country. Yeah, this is actually a thing. And while a gorilla riding a gorilla usually isn't safe for YouTube, in this scenario you're literally riding on the back of the gorilla holding the ears like a couple of bike handles. I don't know why I find this so creepy, but I mean, like, isn't it? The fact that a rhino goes to a gorilla because it tried to pick up a barrel, I just don't understand. And at 9, Missigno. Pokemon Red and Blue are also iconic games in gaming history, and Missigno is perhaps one of, if not the most well-known glitch in gaming history. Sure, it may not be the first one people think of, but at least everyone knows about Missigno. To refresh your memory, Missigno is basically a Pokemon who's glitched to all hell. When encountering this Pokemon using a specific combination of movements and such, the 6th item in your bag will be maxed out, usually Master Balls, because having 999 Master Balls is literally winning the game. However, while this does sound amazing, there is a chance that encountering Missigno will end up corrupting your game, meaning the next time you turn off your game, you will lose everything, including those 999 Master Balls. Last time I mentioned this, someone in the comments said it won't corrupt your game, and that's not true. They might have been trolling. Encountering Missigno can cause you to lose everything. In fact, it's the most likely outcome, so I will caution you against doing it unless you want to keep your Game Boy on forever. And at 8, Gyroid Face. Literally the face of death. The gyroid face from Animal Crossing occurs when the player takes the in-game train to a town of another player online, but resets the GameCube while on their way or in their town. When the player starts the game up again, they will lose all the items they had in their inventory, and then their avatar's face will resemble that of the gyroid statue, the place where you save your game. However, technically this isn't a glitch, since Nintendo did come out and say that this feature was added to remind the player to use a gyroid to save, since now they don't have their items. But the thing is, shouldn't it just load the last save like in any given Pokemon game? And shouldn't you be required to save before doing anything online like in any given Pokemon game to prevent things like this from happening? And while sure it may be a deliberate feature, I'm sure that everyone thought it was the start of a creepypasta before Nintendo actually came out saying it was intentional. Either way, terrifying. And at 7, Terminator Pikachu. Okay, so it's not like Pikachu is chasing after someone trying to kill them or anything, but this glitch just reminds me of a robot the way his face glitches out like a screen. And from the video I watched about this glitch, it's like Shrek. It has layers. However, the layers are like hardcore Doki Doki Literature Club style layers, because holy crap, this thing is damn terrifying. And it makes you restart the level over and over. Plus, Pikachu's mouth ends up looking like Hannibal Lecter's mask from Silence of the Lambs, and like it's covered in blood. It's just unexpected and terrifying. The menu was glitched beforehand, but from what I gather, this glitch starts when you tell Pikachu to use Lightning Bolt in your bedroom, which, I mean, seems fair enough. Sure, you want a little spark between you and your lady friend, but come on, man, really? A Lightning Bolt? You trying to become the Flash here, or no? Because, like, that I understand. It's just very confusing and very weird. Just see it for yourself.
Whoa. The answer was ticket.
Number 6, Minus World. Super Mario Bros. Is also an iconic game, one of the original Nintendo platformers that inspired a franchise and made Nintendo a household name. However, apparently, if you jump in just the right place early on and hop through a wall because of it, you can see something the developers never wanted you to. The Minus World is a glitch that takes you to a game world exactly like World 7-2, like geographically and how enemies are placed. However, the level is impossible to complete, since at the end the pipe just sends you back to the beginning. So unless you want an infinite Mario level that literally will go on until you run out of lives, it's probably not the best idea to trigger. The location you need to jump from is on top of the pipe at the end of level 1-2. Jump off the edge of the pipe and try to squeeze through the top of the wall in front of you and head down the first pipe you see, and voila! You're now stuck in eternal torment like William freaking Afton in hell. But technically the world itself isn't a glitch, but the fact that people thought it was a Minus World is. Technically this level is World 36-1, however the game shows the number 36 to be blank, therefore all you see is the -1, making everyone believe it was a negative level, but it's not. Halfway through number 5, what's hanging? Now nobody is still quite sure whether this is a bug or an intentional Easter egg left by some cynical developer, but in the game Luigi's Mansion, during the blackout that happens after the boss battle of Area 3 on the balcony, Luigi goes to answer some phone calls in the telephone room. Also, side note, telephone room? You need to have those little buggers dotted everywhere, are you kidding me? You know how many times I've needed to get the phone from my dad because it was downstairs and he didn't want to get up yet? Sorry, rant done. During these calls, there will be flashes of lightning that light up the room. When there is, look at Luigi's shadow. It has been distorted in such a way that makes it look like he's been hanged, like an untrustworthy member of the Night's Watch. This one glitch has made fans speculate that this game is actually much darker than we anticipated, making up stories like he's dead and this is the only time we see the real Luigi, or that it's just a leftover from the beta version while Nintendo was trying to see if the GameCube could handle such a thing. However, notice that there isn't an actual string or rope visible, it's just Luigi. So maybe these are just outlandish ideas. Or are they? And 4, censored singing. Look, I enjoy singing. I did it in school, I do it in the elevator or shower, and sometimes on the odd occasion on this channel for the bloopers. However, my singing is actually understandable, not entirely pleasant, but comprehensible to the point that you know what I'm saying. The same can't be said for the villagers in Animal Crossing New Horizons, where according to users Suki and Kitsune on the Nintendo support website, after patch 1.1.1 for New Horizons, any villager who starts to sing ends up just standing in place blinking rapidly and making beeping noises. They also no longer happy sing after exposing 2 villagers to a radio playing KK Slider music. Unless a radio is present, no happy singing. But to be fair, all the best songs come from a place of hatred. Okay, so obviously this wasn't an intended feature, but I mean, if you think about it, maybe they just grew up and started listening to some more adult music like Peppa Pig likes.
I like this. It's very grown up.
Or it could just be that the game is bugged more than my apartment after I keep saying that I want to kill kids. I don't actually want to kill kids. Kind of. Number 3, endless track. Hidden tracks are essential to games like Mario Kart Wii, the best-selling racing game of all time. Just when you're sick of Mario Circuit since you've raced it 300 times, you unlock a new cup that has more tracks that you'll get bored of soon. However, in Mario Kart Wii from 2008, over 11 years ago, holy crap. I remember playing this thing when it came out. Anyway, the game has been picked to shreds, as you'd imagine, being around 12 years old. And this is true, even finding one extra track you didn't know about, that appears to have the entire Mushroom Kingdom burnt down, and I'm assuming a princess is in another castle-filled rage, since Mario's a sociopath. However, this thing exists like a creepypasta, not being accessible as if the programmers were trying to contain some sort of ancient evil within the game's code because they scanned the wrong hard drives for code. Fortunately for the demon that wants to devour our planet, we figured out a way to get into the track anyway. The track appears in many different forms depending on how you get in, usually with cheat codes. Well, actually always involving cheat codes, because you need to cheat to get in, cheater. However, the track doesn't end. There aren't a certain amount of laps, or obstacles, or items, or even enemies. You just get stuck in an endless loop of Mario Circuit with Moo Moo Farm's music playing until you die. But that's what you get for cheating. The Yogscast guarantee. And 2, deformed Pikachu. Speaking of cheaters, what about hackers? I feel like they're in the same boat as the cheaters. Well, if you are one of the people who like to switch around the movesets in Super Smash Bros. Melee or Brawl, you're probably familiar with the character commonly known as Pika Man, or for the more sophisticated, Longchew. Longchew is the name given to Pikachu when he is his default moveset replaced by Ganondorf's in Super Smash Bros. Brawl or Melee. Since Ganon's animations rely on having a full human body, Pikachu will stretch to those proportions, giving you nightmares for the next few weeks. So thanks to whoever discovered this thing and decided to share it on the Brawl Central forums, because now you've scarred thousands of Pikachu lovers and me. I mean, I like Pikachu, he's alright, but I wouldn't say I love him like I love Chimchar, or Celebi, or Aipom, or Bulbasaur. Clearly, I love monkeys. Darkrai. Darkrai is dope! The fact that shiny Darkrai is pink just makes it all the more... what? Finally, in at number 1, Doghouse. Link's Awakening is an odd game, even for Nintendo, and even in the early stages of the Game Boy it was fairly off. All the creatures, areas, and monsters had sort of a dreamlike quality. Like, while they weren't actually real, they didn't feel like they were real in the game either. Well, the commonly known Doghouse glitch from The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening takes this to a whole new level of crazy. At any point in the game after killing one monster, you can head back to the house next door to the one you started, the one with the chain chomp tied outside, and then use a simple maneuver trick to make the game let you walk through the side of the doghouse. Doing this for some reason throws you into a really messed up LSD trip of a dungeon. The dungeon itself will be different every time you go in, but the first thing you'll see is the image of an empty room with a two-headed dog standing in the center. After this is gone, you can explore the horror that is the doghouse dungeon. It allows you to phase through walls and has holes that don't actually appear but you can still fall through, but the worst thing is the disembodied heads of little girls holding swords. See why I had to say I don't actually kill kids? This is a video game. Not my basement. There is a room with a man who appears to be constantly drowning again and again, and you can get items that shouldn't be available until later in the game. This dungeon is all kinds of screwy and is really one of the scariest things in a Nintendo game. Let alone glitches. Like, jeez.
Starting us off in at number 10, Glitch City. Let's begin our list with a glitch that terrified the crap out of us in Pokemon Red and Blue. Did you know that in the games it's possible to visit an entirely new city from scratch thanks to a glitch known as Glitch City? It's a city that looks like it crawled its way up from the depths of digital hell, but is a city nonetheless. In order to do this, you need to start a game in Safari Zone and then try to leave, but select No. Then re-enter the zone, save, then reset the game. Leave the Safari Zone and walk 500 steps. Because of these actions, the game will think you're still in the Safari Zone and will start to glitch, bringing you to Glitch City, a corrupted version of whatever area you were in when those 500 steps ended. Luckily, it won't ruin your game like some of the other numbers on this list. You can easily leave by using Fly or Teleport. Now, Glitch City is a prime example of the games trying to fill in holes left by glitches rather than the game crashing altogether. Something that happened in many different ways and forms throughout the early Pokemon games, and something that becomes apparent the more we get into this list. Let's move on to number 9, the Berry Glitch. Did you know that many of the original Pokemon Red and Blue Game Boy games have entirely stopped working? Now this is because of the way that the games back then saved data. It was saved and ran on an internal battery. So as you can imagine, those little internal batteries have gone kaputs, meaning all of your old save files are now lost. Naturally, Nintendo and Game Freak have run into issues over the years because of this, with one of the biggest, and earliest, being in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Once a save file was made, the game would only keep track of it for a single year. After that, the aspects of the game pertaining to daily activities stopped working altogether, including berries, hence where this glitch got its name. Eventually there was a patch created for this, but this isn't a problem for Nintendo moving forward anymore. These days, the modern games save on an SD card or can be loaded into the online Pokemon Bank. Moving on to number 8, Lumos City Save Glitch. What's scarier than getting a decent way through your game and then having your save file corrupted, forcing you to start all over? Well, not much as far as video games are concerned to some people, which brings us to this number on our list, the Lumos City Save Glitch. As its name suggests, this more so recent glitch that appeared in Pokemon X and Y would occur if a player saved their game in either the north or south boulevards of Lumos City. If they then turned off the game or the console, the next time that they would try to load that save file, the game would freeze upon loading. And there was no way of fixing that aside from restarting the game altogether. Eventually, a patch was released to solve this issue. Up next, number 7, the M Glitch. M is a glitch that occupies hex slot 00 in the game's ROM, with its name appearing as two ever-changing glitchy graphics on either side of the capital letter M in the actual game itself, meaning it's a Pokemon that you can have in your party. It's technically like the Missing No glitch, more on that later, since it does many similar things like duplicate items, except this little guy does something interesting when activated. When you capture it, it still attacks you. It can replicate itself constantly, meaning there's a very good chance that it can never be defeated. And if you try to throw another Pokeball after it attacks you after being caught, it will then turn into a Ditto. Just a regular Ditto, hence the common nickname for this glitch, Ditto M. It also evolves. At level 138, M will evolve into a Clefairy. It can also evolve at any other level aside from 138 into a Kangaskhan. It spontaneously will turn into a Rhydon if you already have an M glitch in your Pokemon party. Now it's worth noting that many fans of the game think that this glitch is actually some sort of connection to Kangaskhan, Cubone, and Marowak and that whole deathly depressing fan theory surrounding those three, but this has yet to be proven. And at number 6, acid rain. The third generation of Pokemon games saw the introduction of changing weather in the series, with Pokemon able to summon extreme weather during a battle. Now this could damage all Pokemon on the battlefield minus those who have an innate resistance to those kinds of weather effects. For example, ice Pokemon are immune to hail. It's something that's still prevalent in Pokemon games to this day, but when it was introduced in Pokemon Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, there was a way to have all weather effects play at once thanks to this glitch. Now this occurs when a weather effect of any kind is active on the battlefield, and then you need to knock out your opponent's Pokemon when it's being switched out via Pursuit. Now this activates the glitch, and when the next Pokemon is released by your opponent, all of the weather effects will become active at the same time. Acid rain. Up next, number 5, Hex Value EC. Getting a little technical at this one. So without diving into the exact how-to, Pokemon games store data for Pokemon in a location in its cartridge that occupies 256 slots of data. 256 converted to hex is FF, or the maximum. Now 151 of these slots are actually Pokemon. 40 of those slots are missing no, once again, more on that later, and then the remainder of the slots are for trainer data. Data. If you tried to use a Game Shark to force another encounter with a specific trainer ID, you'll end up fighting a glitchy NPC trainer. Now, some players have managed to force the game to read these trainer slots of data as Pokemon data, which is how this glitch was discovered. EC is the name for the hex location where this glitch is stored. It has no sprite, but it does have data normally corresponding to Lieutenant Surge, meaning if you entered a certain code in your Game Shark, specifically 01ECD8CF, you would find yourself battling a wild Lieutenant Surge. You will then attempt to send out EC, which will then freeze your game. If you're playing with a ROM and it remains stable throughout this, your Pokemon that you send out into battle in response will have a frozen status effect, a warped HP bar, and a bunch of other glitchy visuals. Why is this creepy aside from it being an invisible glitchy Pokemon? Because EC is the only hex location in the game where data does not exist, yet that can't be right because Lieutenant Surge appears there. One critic from VentureBeat.com has even gone as far to suggest that this is the equivalent of Schrodinger's cat, existing and not existing simultaneously. Moving on to number 4, the Dokokashira door. Available only in the Japanese releases of Pokemon Red and Green from 1996 and therefore not present in the blue titles or the North American releases, this glitch is one known for being incredibly disruptive and harmful. Dokokashira translates into "where is it?" So as you can gauge from that, this glitch will change the location of what exists behind doors of buildings, bringing you to places it shouldn't. Now this happens if you start a new game in order to save Oak's parcel in your inventory. From there, press select and attempt to swap it with the first Pokemon in your party rather than swapping it with an item. But be warned, because that's a straight up sacrificial act. Your only Pokemon, aka your starter Pokemon, will be victim of this glitch. This activates the glitch, and every 4 steps you take, a new cycle of the glitch begins, meaning the warp location of each door will constantly change to another location. Trippy, isn't it? But to some players, rather useful. One player actually figured out how to use this glitch to beat the game by walking straight into the Hall of Fame, accessing the computer, and then beating the entire thing without a single Pokemon in their party. It also looks like navigating a hellscape, so to each their own. Up next, number 3, Charizard M. Remember the glitch that we talked about earlier? The M glitch? Well, this spin-off of it is by far one of the most heinous Pokemon glitches out there, courtesy of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. Despite being called Charizard M, this is not a Pokemon. It's a programming anomaly, and what it does really sucks. It will delete your other Pokemon. So this glitch occupies the FF slot on the cartridge and doesn't correspond to any Pokemon. The slot it exists in is literally where the game stores data for the cancel button. So yeah, it's not really supposed to be there. If you capture this glitch, which initially appears in the form of a Charizard, it will be added to your party as a blank space. Now, if you try to move it to the top of your roster, it will delete all of your other Pokemon. You won't be able to heal them, interact with them, or do anything with them at all. And if you make the mistake of trying to store Charizard M in your Pokemon box, it will do the exact same thing to everyone else in that box. In addition to that, this glitch can multiply itself on its own accord. Moving on to number 2, the Old Man. Otherwise known as the Trainer ID Theft glitch, this one refers to the old man who's chillin' in Viridian City and won't let you proceed any further without delivering Oak's parcel first. Once you do that, and once you get your Pokedex, he will want to show you how to catch Pokemon. So naturally, players with Game Sharks decided that they wanted to screw with this dude. And screw they did. So the old man has one program function: throw a Pokeball. He never sends out Pokemon of his own, so players have messed with it using the Game Shark to have him catch a Mewtwo, catch other trainers, or even a Missingno. But this can cause a glitch to occur where he also steals your trainer ID. After he tells you that you must weaken the target Pokemon, which he normally does, post him catching a Pokemon, players noticed that their name had been changed to Old Man. This is because the glitch stores your player ID information where the wild Pokemon data is stored. You can no longer nickname any Pokemon because they don't recognize you. You're now Old Man. Other NPCs will address you as Old Man. Even your own mother won't recognize you, despite the sign on your house changing to Old Man's House. Speaking of the Old Man, his glitchy ways actually impact another glitch on our list, bringing us to our final number. In at number 1, Missing No. The Missing No glitch is perhaps the most famous Pokemon glitch on our list, and one that has gone beyond the game's fanbase. You could argue it's one of the most well-known gaming glitches of all time. Hype aside, Missing No literally means missing number 000 in the Pokedex. Players of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow in particular would seek out Missing No by replicating this pattern. After having reached Cinnabar Island and having a Pokemon that has been taught both Surf and Fly HMs, the player would travel to Viridian City, speak to the Old Man, ask him to show them how to catch a Pokemon, and then fly back to Cinnabar Island to use Surf on the eastern coast of the island. Pretty sure most of us who have played Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow have done this. Because this area of the game possesses no wild Pokemon data, a random one will spawn, typically in the form of Missing No, which looks like a terrifying, glitchy abomination. The glitch doesn't end there though. A player could manipulate the glitch in order to catch any Pokemon in the game, or to create infinite copies of any item, with the glitch increasing the 6th item in your bag by 128. There were rumors that it could ruin a player's game though, and if you visited the Hall of Fame, the effects of the glitch could be undone, but not before crashing the game's music, messing with the sound, and turning your Pokemon into cubes of glitchy gibberish in some cases. To this day, it is still a risk for players, with reports of gamers trying to transfer a Missing No from Pokemon Red and Blue into Pokemon Sun and Moon, which would cause the names of any other Pokemon transferred to go glitchy as well.